Y podcast, episode number 12. Yes, so big update. Patrick is actually stepping back. He's going to be hopefully doing some reviews for the channel occasionally, as well as doing maybe an episode a month. But his time commitment at university just became too much for him, so he needs to step back. So Emerson is taking the official command of second chair. I'm gonna call it second chair because I'm so much better than you. But yeah, so that's kind of a big update for the channel. So we're gonna update our logos and trailers accordingly. But yeah, so just keep wishing Patrick the best. Keep kicking booty at school, my friend, and just doing your best. But yeah, so this is the Press Y podcast where we cover the weekly gaming news as well as our analysis. And Emerson, what are you going to tell these
Hello, everybody. I'm in officially. I've been holding that for the last minute.
And that was not like champagne, like a cork popping off champagne. That was
me blasting my way into your speakers. That was me. Yeah. I apparently performed so well last week. I scared Patrick away.
Yeah, I think that's actually specifically what he told me. Yeah, tell him to subscribe, Emerson.
Oh yeah, I've been told to tell you guys to subscribe and give you the whole pitch and ring that notification bell like it's a clock tower. You want to hear that thing ring in your ears whenever we post something new. Follow us on Twitter or Instagram or wherever else Press Y is public. I'm not up to date on all that stuff, but just listen to Gunner, do as he says, and everything will go fine.
Everything will be okay if you just listen to me and follow.
Follow blindly.
That's
words to live by.
Words to live by, and kind of relevant to one of our topics today. It involves China. Oh wait, this isn't a political podcast. No, it's not. But whenever government says no to gamers, whenever government
we're going to endorse Xi Jinping hard.
Yes, whenever the government endorses gamers or poops on gamers, we got to rise up, right? We are persecuted, as you all know. But yeah, so there's a lot of gaming news this week with that big story that we were just referring to being the whole Blizzard scandal. Blizzard just,
But that's called foreshadowing. That's at the end of the podcast.
That is at the end of the podcast.
So we're going to make you sit through half an hour before we get there.
Yeah, but it's not sitting through. They're listening. They're engaging.
We're going to make you listen through half an hour.
They're learning about so much gaming.
Okay.
All right, speaking of which, let's start off here with some good old sales figures, because who doesn't love sales figures? Am I right?
Oh yeah.
So Monster Hunter World just hit 14 million units and it became Capcom's best-selling game. That's really cool. Of course, Monster Hunter World is the first Monster Hunter to surpass or not surpass. That's not the right word. The first Monster Hunter to not be on a Nintendo console, and or at least mainstream Monster Hunter, and it's done really, really well. And it's beat out both Resident Evil 4 and its remake, as well as Resident Evil 5, which actually sat at 7 million units. I believe the Resident Evil 4s sat around high 4s. But that's really cool, and I really think that this is going to lead to more Monster Hunter games that are not just on Nintendo consoles, perhaps that being even the focus of Capcom going forward, and not just doing Nintendo consoles, but doing PS4, PC, and all that.
I think the biggest surprise for me was that Mega Man was nowhere near their top-selling games.
Well, yeah, it's Mega Man.
I know, because you think Mega Man has a legacy of like 30, 40 years. It's been around forever. It's been through 7+ different franchises, and it's just consistently okay. You think that would be, Capcom, you think Mega Man, you think big, that's their big thing. And nope, It's Resident Evil and it's Monster Hunter, which is surprising for Capcom,
but I feel like
good for them.
I want to say that there's a bigger market for games like Resident Evil as well as Monster Hunter, because I feel like that those cross more generations than just Mega Man. But at the same time, I don't know. I'm just dude saying words.
You still need to play the Mega Man X Legacy Collection.
I do need to play the Mega Man X Legacy Collection. The only Mega Man I played was the Mega Man 1 on Virtual Console, and
that's why.
That was really hard.
As a resident Mega Man fan,
that tested me. Yeah.
I have to force you to play X at some point.
At some point, when I'm in town, give me your game. All right, then I'll do it. I don't want to spend money. I really don't want to spend money. But let's see what else. Oh, so the Nintendo Switch has sold 10 million units in Europe. This is very cool. This includes both the normal Switch model as well as the Nintendo Switch Lite. It's just counted as one family of systems. So the sales are actually up 30% from this period last year and 40% from its launch. That's awesome. It's great to see this console still selling because we love Nintendo. If we haven't made that very clear, we seem to like Nintendo here at the Press Y podcast. And just for some kind of more, I guess, greater perspective here. So the Switch is actually sitting at 36.87 million units worldwide that have been sold as of June 30th this year. And, can contrast that to the Wii U, which only sold 13.56 million, the 3DS, which sold 75.28 in its entire lifespan, the 3DS came out, was that 2011 or 2012?
I want to say 11, but I'll check on that. But I'm not
11. Yeah, I want to say 11 as well. So I mean, and when did they officially drop support? End of last year, or was it the beginning of this year? But still, that's almost 8 years.
I think they're still technically supporting it because there's still games coming out for
They're
it.
not. Yeah, but they're not
sense.
pushing their own. But
No.
still, like over 8 years, it sold 75 million, and over three years, the Switch has sold 36.87. That's
the game was
impressive.
3DS was announced March 2010.
Okay, so it's probably released in 2011. Yeah, but still, and then for some more perspective, the Switch has already outsold the lifetime sales of the Nintendo 64 by almost 4 million. So I was sitting at like about 33 million for the Nintendo 64. So
do you think it'll catch the 3DS by doubling its sales? Basically, you think it'll ever get there or no?
Double its sales? No, absolutely not. But it also kind of depends on like how they push the Switch systems going forward. Like if they do a revision, like a pro revision or something, if that's going to be just an addition to the family, or if that's just a whole new console. If it's a whole new console, then no, I don't think the Switch is gonna double it. But if they do, like, they add a Pro as like part of the family of systems, I think that, I think that, I don't know if it'll double it. I don't know if we'll ever see like Wii kind of sales for the Switch, but I think it'll definitely outperform the 3DS.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever going to catch the Wii. I'm not certain on the 3DS because I do wonder how quickly we're going into the next generation of Nintendo. I think it'll probably be 3 years before we get there. But it's kind of because the sales numbers are up for the Switch right now.
Wait, define next generation.
As in like a Switch successor.
Okay.
Maybe
so not like a Switch
maybe
Pro.
5. I'll give it longer than that because the 3DS stuck around for a lot longer than anybody thought it would.
Yeah, and that's also thanks to the revisions that they had, which I guess you could call the Pro versions of the 3DS.
But the only thing the Switch needs is whenever you turn it on to get blasted in the ear with a sound and then switch. Kind of something along the lines of...
That'd be nice. Oh, you pulled that? Oh, that's cute.
I did. I found that at my desk. And also, I'm probably the only person here who has a Wii U on my desk right now. And
I have one on my TV.
we are your loyal
happy
slaves,
few. we happy few. No, so, and this is something I pointed out last night, and this is, staying on the topic of the Switch, but also kind of moving past the sales, is like, the Switch is probably my favorite Nintendo console just for its usefulness and from the games that are on it. But it seems like it's the least Nintendo out of the Nintendo consoles.
I think it's the library that makes it feel that way. They've supported a lot of things that Nintendo would never support up until now.
I'm just thinking like personality wise.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to be specific there. Personality wise, it doesn't have the same. Whoa, there's like a military helicopter going over my room. My whole house started.
They heard the gunshots at the beginning of the episode.
No, where I am, there's we have a lot of flyovers. No, so the personality of the Switch just isn't the same as like something like the Wii U or even the Wii.
I think the Wii U was the most Nintendo because it was a whole bunch of like trial and error. It was like we're gonna spank a bunch of stuff on this Wii U. Like, here's a gamepad that can't go 10 feet away from my console. Boom.
Hey, listen. But like you don't open up the eShop and you don't have like music and stuff like that. Those like little details. Like there's some, but it's just Nintendo didn't do as much Nintendo as they have in the past with it, I feel. Just as far as like UI and feel. But Again, that's all like minor complaints because I really don't care all that much.
Yeah, the
But
UI is
it
frustrating, but it's not a deal breaker.
yeah, it's like it still feels like the least Nintendo out of the Nintendo consoles, even though I love it. I love it to death. It's still my favorite Nintendo console. But that's just me. I don't know. I'm just a guy who says words. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
gonna be my excuse
Although
whenever.
we do
Yeah.
need to wait and see in the future how things come along with its sales. But speaking of things coming out in the near future, we have Brain Age is coming.
Oh
You
God,
like
you
that
just said my
smooth
favorite words.
transition?
Oh yes, I loved it. I loved it. It's actually called. Oh wow, I didn't write it down. It's like Dr. Kawashima. Oh yeah, Dr. Kawashimi's brain training. So in the UK and Europe, and I did not know this, but in the UK and Europe, it's actually not called Brain Age. It's like I said, it's called like Dr. Kawashima's brain training. There was a trailer for the UK release of the game, European release, set for January 3rd of next year. And it's coming, Emerson, and it comes with
It
a
does.
stylus. Remember that stylus we were talking
Oh
about
yeah.
last
The
week?
only question
Yeah,
we have is the stylus included with the full price purchase, or do you have to pay more for like a special edition that includes the stylus?
I'm gonna lean on the side of you pay the same price.
I would hope so because it's a chunk of plastic. Please don't make me charge.
Yes.
Don't charge me more for that.
Well, also going off of, I think that this is a $40 game,
Hmm.
like max. I think it's a
Yeah.
$40 game. I don't know, but that
Well,
would
Link's
be
Awakening is a $40 game max, and
no. Okay, but that's like super high production value,
okay,
like super high production value. This is like this is a brain training game.
yeah.
Like yeah, good production value,
I'm
but it's
looking forward to
not
this so much.
into
I played this so much on my DS. I remember turning my
yeah.
DS sideways and writing on there and turning it back for all of the games.
I remember
That was so
playing
much fun.
Sudoku on my DS.
Uh,
Yikes! I love Sudoku. I am gonna buy this just because
I
well,
know.
one, I want the stylus, and two, because of sentimental value. Because I did play
Yeah,
this a lot when I was a
just
kid,
put the
and
music on and just let it play.
yeah, the music is so good.
It
Like
is.
it's so good.
My only thing is Dr. Kawashima's brain training sounds like rehabilitation, and that sounds really creepy.
Yeah,
Like, just tell
it's
a
a
friend,
little.
I'm doing Dr. Kawashima's brain training this weekend. What are you doing? Like, that just sounds weird. Brain Age
It
is such a
does
better
sound
name.
weird, but that's what it was called on the DS as well in those regions, which I did not know until doing research on this. Because
Well, we localize
yeah,
for a
there you
reason. I'll
go.
just say
We do
that.
localize for a reason. And brain age in the U.S. comes off more offensive, right? So, it says my brain age is 80, so I'm a dummy dumb. Or wait, I can't remember.
You're an old man.
Is a high brain age good or is a low brain age good?
I think high brain age is good. I can't think of any
I
situation in
don't
which a low brain age is
remember.
good apart from like kindergarten.
But
I
like,
can't ever think of like even low brain age. Congratulations.
I don't remember. That's gonna bother me so much. All right. So speaking of other things that are coming out here in the near future, um, online local multiplayer is coming to Steam. This is
I don't
super
know why
cool.
it took them so long.
This is
This
such a cool feature.
this should have been implemented a long time ago, but I'm so glad they're putting it in now because Star Wars Battlefront for the original versions for PS2 and Xbox are about to be awesome.
And are we gonna play that? I
Oh yeah,
really
we
want to
are.
play it. You can finally utilize your gaming PC on a game
Yeah,
that's like
I've had a
15
gaming
years old
PC
or how long.
like a beast. It's like I'm gonna just watch YouTube videos. I prefer my consoles.
Just play your consoles and not utilize it.
Hashtag
Yeah,
console supremacy.
this is actually a really cool feature that they're adding into Steam. And so the host computer will manage all of the streaming as well as the inputs, etc. And so it's kind of similar to NetPlay and Dolphin, except you're not both running local instances of the game that are synced up. It's
So
actually
is
just the
your
host
friend running it
computer.
on your console? Like you're both the host
Yes,
con? Okay,
it's like if I'm running Battlefront on my computer, and I invite you to join for local multiplayer.
okay.
It's you're streaming basically from my
So
computer,
we're
but
basically
like
doing Stadia Lite.
yeah, which we'll get into Stadia because there's some interesting stuff there. But yeah, so it'll probably be fine. I mean, Steam's streaming service uh, is if you have good internet, it's honestly not that bad. It's
Yeah,
really not that bad. Like at least the in-home streaming, which I've experimented with, it's really not that bad.
I can't even remember the last
Um,
time I've opened up the Steam store. So now I'm gonna probably start
Yeah,
buying
because
stuff
you
now. It'll be
need to
interesting.
take advantage of your PC.
Yeah.
But another thing, it's coming out on October as soon as October 21st, so that's like within a couple weeks. Very cool. This is going to compete with services like Parsec, which offer a very similar thing. So Parsec actually lets you do pretty much the exact same thing here, but they market it towards, at least from what I've seen in sponsored YouTube videos, they market it a lot towards games like on emulators and stuff like Mario Party and all that. And this also just adds another differentiating factor to Steam itself from Epic Games Store, because hot-blooded rivalry, right? Speaking of Epic Games Store, and speaking of good transitions, Surviving Mars is now free on the Epic Games Store. So I like to keep y'all up to date with the free shiz.
They're gonna throw games at
their
you
store.
for Please Love Me.
Please download
Let
our
me buy
launcher
my
so
way
we can
back into
collect
your life.
data. Yes, exactly. Ooh, Emerson. All right, you want to talk about
Okay,
some Pokemon? Because I do not.
So
want to
last
talk about
week
Pokemon.
we went on the 24-hour live stream about the Pokemon live stream where nothing happened, and they revealed one new Pokemon, and that was it. One Pokemon for 24 hours, and it was a Galarian Ponyta. Even after it was revealed, they kept revealing it again and again and again. It turns out, oh gosh, there were two in the woods the whole time. Well, Galarian Ponyta, the Galarian form of the original Pokemon Ponyta, is a Pokemon Shield exclusive. So if you're watching the live stream and you were hyped and you're buying Sword, you spent 24 hours of your life and all that waiting and buzz for absolutely no purpose.
I guess you just have to buy both of them then,
yeah,
right?
you just need to buy the double pack. This is such a terrible idea because they announced Surfetched, the evolution of Farfetch'd, as a Sword exclusive. They did that like in a 1-minute trailer. They just kind of dropped online, like, "Hey, look, Surfetch'd is in the game. That's neat. It's an evolution of an old Pokemon. Get in Pokemon Sword." That's all it needed to do for Galarian Ponyta. There was no reason to burn so much money, so much time and effort, and oh gosh, it was just a waste of time. Is this whole thing because you could hear Ponyta's cry in the background for almost the entire time. You hear that every now and then. Oh, there's Ponyta's cry. I guess Ponyta's in the game. But wait, it's a psychic version of Ponyta. Okay, that's it. That's it. We wasted 24 hours to announce this. We did a 1-minute shadow drop of the Sword exclusive.
They could have just got the intern to make a quick trailer.
Yes, because they did that for the Sword version. So why would you hype up this whole thing for an exclusive that wasn't even that, like, people guessed it by hour 2. I went through like an hourly recap thing, and people guessed by hour 2 what it was, and they updated it as it went, and it was just such a waste of time and effort.
Quick clarification for someone who doesn't play Pokemon very much, like myself, really at all, other than Let's Go. Yeah, that was my reaction. It was not. I didn't enjoy it. Anyway, so I pre-ordered Shield. Am I able to like give you the exclusive, whatever it was called?
So you've always been able to trade across exclusivity, and it's honestly not bad to get exclusives because since Gen 4 they had the GTS, the Global Trading Station. So all you got to do is put on there, I'm looking for a Surfetch. I'm willing to trade this thing, any level, any gender, go. And then the first person to respond to it they'll trade you your Pokemon up online. So you can. It's pretty easy to get exclusives across the internet, but it's just kind of a thing of why would you announce this and then immediately require someone getting one of the games to have to either GTS it, get a friend, or just not have it. If they're new to the franchise and if they don't do the whole GTS walkthrough, you're kind of screwed with. Well, I want that Ponyta, but I don't know how to get it. So
buy the game.
Buy both games.
Okay, good. So now I don't have to buy both, which I wasn't planning on. I don't want to insinuate that I was planning on buying both because, good God, I can't. Why would I do that?
I've been on the anti-hype train for a long time, and every time something cool happens, it just like hits me in the face. Like, oh, this is cool Pokemon. Shield exclusive.
You're just like a hardcore Pokemon fan.
I've been Pokemon fan forever, and these last couple games have just been a beating.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I still think it's going to turn out fine.
It'll turn out. It'll sell fine.
Coming from someone looking at it
going.
with a more objective view, because I don't care about Pokemon.
But here's the thing: we are 4 days away from Little Town Hero.
Oh boy!
Is Little Town Hero going to help or hurt the Pokemon buzz? Because if Little Town Hero is bad, you're about to open the floodgates of every negative speculation.
I don't really know. Yeah, I mean, I think that'd be stupid to.
All it has to do is be okay, because people are like, meh. If it's bad,
it'll be okay. I mean, it has Toby Fox's.
The music's gonna be okay.
It'll be at the very least okay because of Toby Fox. In fact, I mean, I'm basically just calling it Toby Fox's.
Is it strange we're 4 days away from a game from Game Freak? We've had like one trailer.
Yeah, it is weird, and this is something that me and Patrick discussed a couple months ago,
You
actually.
and who? No, I'm
Uh,
kidding. I'm
oh my
kidding.
god, that was okay. No,
I am Patrick.
no. So this is something that me and Patrick already discussed previously. Is that like there was no news about Little Town Hero until about a year after the trailer that it was dropped, and then we find out it's coming out this year, and then eventually we find out it's coming out October. You just kind of snuck. There's no press. There's no media. I mean, there's no press Y media
No,
for it.
they
There's
needed
pretty
all of
much
our
no.
four
There's
viewers.
no buzz. Yeah, there was like no buzz for it. So I don't know how well it's going to perform. That's not again. Its performance isn't necessarily just like how good the game is, but I don't think it's going to sell very well. But I hope it is a
It'll have a
decent
great
game.
soundtrack.
It will have a great soundtrack. All right, let's move on. Doom Eternal got delayed. I was actually pretty surprised to see that this is happening because from the footage that they've shown at like conferences and stuff, it's looked pretty clean. Yeah, but again, I don't know what's going on in the background. So you put a little joke here. Do you want to say it?
We'll do that when we get to the Switch part. So
Okay.
move forward. Keep
Okay.
going.
Yeah, so it got delayed to March 20th of next year. This is the same day that Animal Crossing comes out for the Switch. And Bethesda said that the game needs to meet their quote standards of speed and polish. So, I think it's always great when developers and publishers push back games for quality reasons, not just
Metroid Prime 4.
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
just scrap the
exactly.
whole thing. We
Let's
don't
just
like
let's
it.
just dump it.
I
Let's just straight up
think
dump
it's a
it.
strange date to push it. It's already a kind of packed release date. But maybe
Yeah.
they're wanting that like sick counter programming for Animal Crossing. Do you want to do Animal Crossing or Doom
Counter.
Eternal?
Well, the thing is the Switch version is actually pushed back even further to uh,
To an
a
undisclosed
nondescript,
release
an
date.
undisclosed release date. This is kind of a kick in the pants for people who were hoping that we're finally getting to the point where like big AAA releases are gonna,
Yeah. Well, also especially
be
with the Doom being pushed heavily on the Switch, 64, the first three games,
seriously
they've been like nailing it on the Switch, and then like Doom Eternal coming out in a month. Just kidding, and delayed indefinitely. Doom has been eternally delayed.
eternally delayed. There's the joke.
Because yeah, the issue is this going to be like a quick like a couple weeks, couple months delay, or is it going to be a Crash Bandicoot / Spyro the Dragon where it's like we're going to delay this for who knows, a year maybe?
I think we'll probably get more details as the release date approaches, but my guess is that they've had issues of polish on the normal version, then God knows how
Well,
unclean the
also cartridge
Switch
size.
version is. I honestly like with the compression methods that they've been doing, and even if they had to default to like using a 32 gigabyte cartridge, like CD Projekt Red just did with The Witcher, if they default to that and then still make you download it, I don't think storage is that huge of an issue in this case.
Well, it
I
depends how
would
well they are
I
at compression. Because you've had some games on
optimize
this on
yeah.
the Switch that are not compressed well. You
I
have some like
mean,
Witcher. It's like I don't know how they got that on that cartridge,
there's no
but
like they got all of it and the DLC, and this is a huge
it's
game on
crazy.
PC.
And then you have some things like Link's Awakening that are like up frame rate error, up this game is like having trouble running, and I don't
Yeah.
understand it. So it just
Well,
depends on
that's I
how.
mean that's like a different kind of anyway. I want to say here that the issues are more probably focused on performance than just storage. So if they're having trouble polishing the current engine that they're using, I think they're still using idTech 6. If they're having trouble polishing that like on actual hardware, like good hardware, then I don't know what kind of issues that they're coming up with on the Switch, but I'm sure it's pretty ugly. Another thing they're probably doing, since this is kind of an expansion of the engine that they've been using, is they're likely modifying portions of the Switch game in order to work on the actual on the Switch console. So we saw this in Wolfenstein 2, the port on Switch. They was it Panic Button actually would like wall off certain areas that just affected the game visually. It didn't affect it gameplay
Yeah,
wise, or like it didn't limit you in the map. But they'd use like clever little tricks in order to optimize loading
to not
zones
show as
and
much visuals on that same on the area as well.
yeah. And so they do things like that to like optimize the game, and
Do you
obviously the
think it'll
code
be
was optimized.
cross-platform for online or no?
So
Because I
I don't
don't know
know.
if the
I
Switch
don't think
delay is going to
so.
affect that.
I honestly, I don't think it will be. I think all the online will be local to each console.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like I don't know if online's a huge appeal with Doom because people kind of buy it just to shoot demons. Like there's the Doom Eternal has the whole like drop-in system where people can drop into someone's game and like become the demons or whatever. Like sure, cool, but I don't think crossplay would be a huge selling point here as something like in COD or even just like in Fortnite and all that. So, but interesting. We'll see whenever the Switch release comes out. But for everyone else, it's coming on March 20th, as well as I don't think we mentioned this. Doom 64 is coming out on the 20th as well. So on all platforms. So regardless, so you'll have Doom 64 to tie you over until you want to play Doom Eternal on your Switch. Okay,
Could be a long
this
way.
one is really really interesting, super super interesting. I texted you earlier this week, and we were both just like, "What?" So Google is claiming that Stadia will be faster than local gaming. All right, I know your
Yeah.
first reaction is going to be
So
that
my
you, the
first
viewer.
reaction was one word. Okay.
Okay, yeah, and you, the viewer, probably have the exact same reaction. Like, how? Okay, well, that was my reaction too. But then I did some reading on Twitter as well, a couple articles. So Google's claiming that they'll be able to predict your inputs. Well, how are they going to predict your inputs? Well, there's so many ways they can do this. Obviously, AI to see how you play the game, as well as gather data on how people play specific games in general, in order to help produce this effect. Well, I saw a software developer on Twitter talking about how there is like a method of, or there's a theoretical method of like running multiple instances of a game in the background without you knowing it. And so say it's like think like almost like a multiverse. So say you're playing Mario, right? And you're about to jump to a platform. Well, on your screen, instead of jumping into the platform, you just stand there. Well, in another instance of the game that's running in the background, Google predicted that you jump in the background, that you jump to the next platform. And so whenever you press the A button, it's already basically had that rendered out and ready to go for you. It's just part of the game. And so they're calling it negative latency, and they are basically saying that it's going to be like rivaling in local gaming as well as being faster. Which my big question here is what's the margin of error? Because obviously Google is, their AI and their cloud platforms and everything is just incredible, absolutely incredible. But what's going to be the margin of error for a system like this? And is this really going to address like my concerns of input latency
Probably
for
not.
cloud gaming? Probably, yeah. Or is it just going to raise? Is it just going to raise new
Because
issues?
I can see, like with a first-person shooter, if it'll already render out your reload, if you're out of ammo, that's pretty obvious going to happen. But then you go to a fighting game where there's so many possible inputs. Does it render them
So
all out?
many.
And if so, does that slow the game down?
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think it'll slow the game down. I think, I think, I don't know how Google's going to have enough basically processing power to run so many different instances of the game. If that's the method they're taking, I don't know what the method they're taking is, because what they could be doing is they could have like a custom API that essentially handles these kind of situation, like multiple situations, and they let developers access this API in order to use it in their games. And so maybe we get to the point where only some games have this negative latency effect, as they're calling it, or maybe it's all. I really don't know. Maybe it's a universal just system that just works. But God, I don't know. Fighting games, like there's so many different possible things you could do, so many different combos, so many different like situations. So I really
Well, you
don't
can go
know.
back to your Mario example. Like, if you're jumping at the platform, at what angle are you jumping? Does that affect the outcome? Does it affect the rendered possibilities? If you jump
Yeah,
and then turn left during mid jump because you can, well, how does that affect it? So that's what I'm wondering is how they can do all that. But also Stadia, they're claiming a whole bunch, but we have yet to have it launch.
yeah.
So I get they're trying to hype it
Well,
up and
it'll be
say,
here in
okay, sure,
November.
your wired in console, we're gonna be better than that when you put it to your Wi-Fi, send it to Google HQ, we'll send it back to you. It'll be faster than light. Like, okay, well, prove it. Like,
It's
we'll have to wait and see. But I am very skeptical.
and I think a healthy dose of skepticism is good in this case, but at the same time, we probably would have had the same thoughts about Netflix beating out like local
Like
movie rentals and
Blockbuster,
stuff like that. Yeah,
really?
like Blockbuster. Well, I mean, but just people don't like looking forward into the future. You always have
Yeah,
to imagine, like if that sounds like something that seems crazy, doesn't necessarily mean that it's not
But
possible.
yeah,
So I'm interested
words
in
to
these.
live by is
I'm
put a
Go
healthy
ahead.
bit of skepticism into your protein shake.
Yeah. So I really want to see this succeed for Google. Not that I really want to see cloud gaming be the future, but I know it is. Because I
Over
just
my
prefer
dead
looking
body. That's
over
kind of
my
where I
dead
am.
body. But I just like this would be a really cool technology. Really, really, really cool technology. But moving on, staying kind of in the realm of sort of PC gaming. I guess Stadia is not
Yeah.
technically PC, but is it? I don't know.
What? Yeah.
Um,
What is it classified under?
it's like its own
Is it
quote
just
unquote
gaming and TM?
console. But I think basically what it is, it seems to be just like games running basically on PC hardware, but like with a
Is
Stadia
it just
code
server
or
gaming?
API
Is like
on
a new
it.
phrase?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because it's
I really don't
PC, it's
know.
phone, it's tablet.
'Cause it almost feels like, yeah. Okay, but yeah, moving on. So Red Dead and Call of Duty Modern Warfare, they're both coming out on PC, and the storage size for the game files was just recently revealed. So we're sitting at 150 gigabytes of storage for Red Dead and 175 gigabytes of storage for
Put that on your
COD, which
Switch.
yeah, it's yikes. So I need to buy a new SSD. I've been meaning to buy one for a while, so this is kind of a good excuse. But it's crazy how big games are getting, and it's kind of funny contrasting big those kind of big AAA's to like Nintendo's big AAA's. I think Breath of the Wild's like what 13 gigs or something like that. And again, I want to be completely fair here because I did do a little bit of background research. You know, people complain that Western developers don't compress their games. They do, but at the same time, whenever you have like 4K textures and all that, it still ends up being a really large file size. So it sucks, but I hope that there's much more efficient compression methods that are
I want to
utilized in the
know how
future because
COD's larger than Red Dead 2.
that's the other big one. I don't know. I mean, it has to be like I guess the campaign. It'd have to be. But at the
Yeah,
same
it
time,
might
like
depend how
Red Dead is
long the
such a
campaign is.
massive, yeah. But Red Dead's also such a massive world. Like, yikes, I don't
Maybe
know.
Red Dead did a lot of recycled assets for wildlife and
Yeah,
jungle.
that's
If
yeah,
you recycle a lot
yeah,
of textures and like trees and graphics, I guess, but it's still like I don't know how COD's bigger, but maybe we gotta wait for the game to come out and see how large and expansive the story mode is, on top
yeah.
of maybe just how many weapons there are. I'm just trying to think of how it's
It's
that
not even that.
large.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Like
have no
175
idea.
gigabytes. That's yikes. That's about a fifth of a like your hard drive on PS4.
Yeah, it's crazy. So crazy. But regardless, I'm looking forward to COD and I will make the space on my computer for it. And that's so weird. Again, I think I've said this like every episode I mentioned COD, but it's weird that I'm looking forward to a Call of Duty because I just haven't enjoyed the series in so long. But yep. All right. And now moving on to our big story.
We foreshadowed this thing hard, and then we just
Oh,
forgot about it for half an
yes.
hour.
And then a country suppressed us for talking about it. So, so Blizzard, I'm sure a lot of you have heard the news by now, but Blizzard actually banned a player from its Hearthstone tournaments and competing in any more esports with them for a year. For
Initially, a
making
year.
yeah, initially a year. We'll get all to that because there's an update, but the specific player Chung Na Wai, I think I just
Well
butchered
played.
that. After after his Hearthstone tournament on stream, in a post interview, he donned a gas mask and goggles and said, "Liberate Hong Kong, revolution of our age," and that's a big no-no according to Activision Blizzard, who is partially owned by Tencent, who we've talked about in the past. Tencent is a very big Chinese gaming publisher and game. They help develop games as well. They responded initially by stripping him of his prize money from the Grandmasters Season 2 and making him ineligible for competing in esports for a year with Blizzard Games. So the specific rule in Blizzard's terms of service that he violated was quoted as this: engaging in any act that, in Blizzard's sole discretion, which is an important thing to note, brings you into public disrepute, offers a portion or group of the public or offends a portion or group of the public, or otherwise damages Blizzard's image, will result in the removal from Grandmasters and reduction of the player's prize total to 0 USD, in addition to other remedies which may be provided for under the handbook in Blizzard's website terms. So that's a yikes.
So hang on.
But
Little did you know, he was actually penalized for not having a cell phone. This is Blizzard
What?
talking about. He did not have a
Wait,
cell
what?
phone. He could not get Diablo Immortal, and they penalized him for that.
But I thought everyone has a cell phone.
Not this man.
So this is a big bummer for him, and this is Blizzard kind of joining the poop storm that is the whole China debacle right now with the NBA and all those other companies.
Quick tangent. The NBA I'm okay with because Xi Jinping did make the NBA All-Stars.
As of yesterday, the 11th, we're recording on Saturday the 12th. Blizzard restored Chung's prize money of $3,000, and they only set his ban to 6 months instead of a whole year.
How generous!
Highly generous. That is better than nothing, but at the same time, like that's still, and
they're paying him for his silence, basically.
The thing that bothered me the most, is, Blizzard was claiming that they weren't doing this out of interest of China, which literally on their Chinese Twitter or their Chinese Weibo account, it literally praised the country and condemned anyone who condemned the country. So, they're saying that they're not kowtowing to China, and they obviously are. And this makes sense from a business perspective. Again, speaking purely on a business perspective, this is not me condoning their actions. It makes sense to support a very big market of yours and not to condemn that market. Otherwise, of course, you're losing a bunch of money. But at the same time, with all the human rights violations and the police and the revolution, not the revolution, but like the protests and stuff going on in Hong Kong right now, it's a little. It doesn't look good on Blizzard's part, and is it actually good? Probably not. I don't think that. I don't think that's great. And again, Blizzard and other companies are claiming they're trying not to take a political stand.
Yeah, I wouldn't have an issue if Blizzard was like, we're not going to touch politics. We don't want to do that. Okay, fine. And the company's like, but all hail China, by the way.
Pretty much.
That's kind of why it's like, okay, are you endorsing your political beliefs or none? Because leave that out. If you want to leave that out of games in general, totally fine. If you want to just say, hey, listen, we don't want to touch this with 10-foot pole or Nintendo.
Just like Nintendo,
we are neutral. We do not want to touch anything. We are games for everybody. I have no issue with that. Also saying like, hey, please don't do political stuff at our events. I'm fine with that. But then for the company to then endorse political events, it's also okay. Because I wondered too if the guy had a pro-China stance, if it would have been banned or not. Because that's the thing is like I would assume not, but that's the issue with their sole discretion.
Because wouldn't that, and again looking at their terms of service, wouldn't that technically offend a portion or group of the public, being those in Hong Kong who?
But would it any more than Blizzard's own stance? Yeah, that's the thing, because it's their sole discretion. So I get that they have the right to do that, but it's just kind of strange. Like, okay, you can't, like, if they're saying, hey, don't do that, we're neutral. That's one thing, but hey, don't do that, we're the affirmative on the other case is a bit strange.
Yeah. So and this story became pretty mainstream. Even members of the U.S. Congress commented on it.
And they don't even know how Facebook works.
Yeah.
Tell me, Mr. Zuckerberg, what is a Facebook?
What is a Facebook? But this is because, again, all those other companies that are having spats with China right now. But on the good news, Epic Games says it won't punish political speech at its events. So
I do imagine them like, hey guys, please, we're not going to punish you for being political, and have some games. Please come back to our store.
Please.
Can I buy your love and affection?
Please play Fortnite.
Please buy more dances.
Yes, more dances for little Jimmy.
Dance for me, kid.
All right, it's been 40 minutes. Wow. All right, let's jump to our Press Y. So that's our big story for you.
Yeah, you go first. Mine's a hot take. Mine's a really hot take.
Oh God, his is a very hot take. Mine, I bought Yooka-Laylee in the Impossible Lair this week, and I've been really enjoying it. It is a very good 2D platformer, much better than Yooka-Laylee itself. So I've actually been really enjoying it. Again, big Donkey Kong Country vibes. It's very similar to Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze, like very, very similar. But it's visually beautiful. The music is great. You have Grant Kirkhope and David Wise. I don't like the music as much as I do something like Donkey Kong Country, but it's still good. It's still that kind of atmospheric is the stuff from David Wise, as well as kind of the upbeat things from Grant Kirkhope. It's good. I really like the game. I can hope to beat it here soon. It's very enjoyable. Patrick has discussed possibly writing a review for it, so I might cap some footage in that case. But yeah, go check it out if you don't have. It's only $40. Well, it's $40 in store, 30 online, I believe. So go check it out. Emerson.
All right, so
I'll leave you the floor.
Yeah, as you guys may know, last week was the Metroid Prime trilogy. I pressed Y for. I'm going back and playing a lot of older games I never finished or didn't play on consoles I currently own. So that led me to this last week. I played Metroid Other M, and I prefer it to the Metroid Prime trilogy. I can totally see how fans of the Metroid Prime, or Metroid in general, where it's go explore everything. You're kind of alone on an island or alone on a planet, figure everything out by yourself, wander around, lots of backtracking. In the atmosphere in general, I can see how fans of that hate this game. But Other M was an amalgamation of Metroid Prime and Mega Man X, where it's on rails platforming, run and gun. And I will say the start of the game is not great. Up until the room with the water moving up and down, I was really not enjoying it. After the room with moving water, I loved the game. Other M, I prefer it to the Prime trilogy, not just because of it's nonstop action. It's a lot shorter, and I love the story. There's scenes of a great story in there. It didn't perform it well, but it was, if you could tweak a few things, you could really fix it. I really want to see a sequel to Metroid in this form, where they fix the first person mode, they fix the scanning, they fix some of the story. I'd rather see like the story heavy, more action oriented Metroid. I much prefer this to the Prime series, just due to the fact that it's nonstop action, very little backtracking. And just with Prime, there was so much downtime, and that was one of the big issues for me. They introduced new weapons as well, Screw Attack. They have things like a Power Bomb, or things at least that were for them. They weren't done well. And I think Other M did the Screw Attack better. It did the Super Missile better. It did a lot of things better in terms of the how the game played. And so I would rather see them expand on the Other M formula, because the cutscenes were gorgeous. The voice acting was pretty good. I'd rather just have something like this where there actually are characters in a story, whereas Prime 1, it's just like, hey, look, there's Ridley, and you're on a planet. Enjoy. I much prefer the story-driven action Metroid Other M than I do the Prime series, where you're just running around, backtracking, trying to find your way through an empty world. And also, big thing I prefer to Other M, the power scaling. As you upgrade your weapons, which the reason why you upgrade stuff is stupid for one, but when you get upgrades for your armor and your blaster, or I guess the beam, I much prefer that the power scales. So you go back to older areas and you blow everything up in one hit, and you take hardly any damage, rather than Prime is like, hey, you have more health now, you're fine. Increasing your defense and your damage output is so fulfilling, because you go back to older areas and you blow away like mini bosses or like things that were stopping you in like 2 hits. I much prefer that power scaling, because you feel like you've progressed, rather than Prime going back through older areas and being attacked by swarms of wasps, and they're just hurting you. Like, leave me alone. Do I want to fight you all and wait for the door to load and finally open? Or do I want to just dash through here and hope that you don't hit me? I much prefer the Other M style, and I want to see more games in this things. I'm pressing Y for Metroid Other M. Don't at me.
Yeah, that's right. Don't
Send all your hot takes to Gunner, so he can promptly push them off his desk, because he doesn't care either.
Oh God. Oh, you know what? You should make a video called "Why Metroid Other M is better than the Prime series" or whatever.
Yeah, well,
and then that can be the hot take that like blows up our channel.
Sure, I can totally see how fans of Metroid, the Metroid style up until this point, are like, that's not Metroid. But I got there, was like, this is Mega Man X. I love Mega Man X. That's kind of where I was in. Like, I played all those games. I love it. Because this is everything X7 wanted to be. I'll say that.
Okay. Well, that seems to be it for the Press Y podcast this week. Thanks again to Emerson for hopping on board and filling those nice shoes. Gunner?
Okay, big shoes. Nice.
Good God. Remember to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on Twitter. God, saying that feels so dumb. But yeah, do all those kinds of things. Share with your friends. We really enjoy doing this, and we hope you guys enjoy these episodes as well. Catch us next week
Yes, we
Sunday
are
8:30
we are
for our next
responsible
episode.
for you guys. We are responsible for our audience. We are totally subservient to you guys in our overlord Xi Jinping. Thank you so much for listening and for watching. Go China.
Go China. All right, bye.
Bye.